long time ago, there was a mighty kingdom ruled by a cruel and merciless king. This king was infamous for his ruthless punishments. He did not hesitate to sentence people to death for even the smallest mistakes. The people of the kingdom lived in fear, knowing that one wrong move could be their last. One day, the king's guards caught a thief red-handed stealing valuables from the market. Without giving him a chance to explain himself, they dragged him to the royal court. The king, sitting on his grand throne, glared at the trembling thief. "You have committed a crime," he declared. "For this, you will be hanged tomorrow." Hearing his punishment, the thief did something unexpected. He laughed loudly. Everyone in the court, including the king, was shocked. The king leaned forward and asked, "Foolish man, I just sentenced you to death, and yet you laugh. Most people beg for their lives or cry in fear. Why are you laughing?" The thief, still smiling, bowed respectfully and said, "Your Majesty, I laugh because just a week ago, I learned a rare and powerful skill from a wise yogi. He taught me how to train any horse to fly in the sky. But now that I am to be executed, this secret will die with me." The king's eyes widened in disbelief. "Are you saying you can make a horse fly?" "Yes, Your Majesty," the thief said confidently. "If you give me 1 year, I can teach your horse to soar through the skies like a bird. However, if I fail, you may punish me with the most painful death you see fit." The king, intrigued by the possibility of owning a flying horse, thought to himself, "If this man speaks the truth, I will become the most powerful king in the world. No one will dare challenge me." After a moment of silence, the king said, "Fine. I will give you 1 year. But remember, if you fail, you will face a fate worse than death. Also, during this time, I will ensure that your family has enough food and clothing so you can focus on your task." The thief bowed deeply. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will not waste this opportunity." The king released him, and the thief hurried home. When he arrived, his wife and children were astonished to see him alive. His wife, with tears in her eyes, asked, "How did you survive?" "Everyone knows the king shows no mercy. He should have killed you." The thief smiled and shared the entire story. His wife, bewildered, asked, "But can you really teach a horse to fly?" The thief chuckled and shook his head. "Of course not. I don't know anything about flying horses." Horrified, his wife cried out, "Why did you lie to the king? Don't you realize that after a year, he will kill you for sure? You've only delayed your death." The thief gently placed his hand on his wife's shoulder and said, "My dear, let's think positively. The king was going to kill me today, but now I have 1 more year to live. Anything can happen in that time. There are 3 possibilities. I might die from illness or an accident before the year is over. The king or his horse might die. They are both old after all. If none of these happen, at least I get to spend 1 more year with you and our children. Isn't that better than dying today?" His wife listened quietly. Slowly, she wiped her tears and nodded, realizing the wisdom in his words. Months passed, and the thief lived peacefully with his family. However, as the one-year deadline approached, fear began to creep into his heart. He prayed sincerely to God every day, promising to leave his life of crime and live honestly if he survived. Just as the 12th month began, something unexpected happened. A neighboring king, who had long been an enemy, launched a surprise attack on the kingdom. His spies had gathered information for months and chose this moment to strike. The cruel king was killed in battle, and the enemy ruler took control of the kingdom. The new king, wanting to win the people's trust, declared freedom for all prisoners of the old regime. The thief, now free, returned home to his family. True to his promise to God, he gave up stealing and started living an honest life. He worked hard, provided for his family, and spent the rest of his days happily with his wife and children. Life is full of uncertainties, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Even in the darkest moments, there is always hope. Tough times, like good ones, are temporary and will pass. Never lose hope, no matter how difficult life may seem. Keep looking for possibilities, even when they seem slim. Remember, your positive actions today can create a better tomorrow for you and others. Sometimes, what seems like the worst moment of your life is actually an opportunity for transformation. Stay hopeful, act wisely, and face life with courage. No hardship lasts forever,